My name is Lucia, and today we're going to talk about beginner poses for yoga. Yoga means union of the mind and the body. So when you clear your mind, you calm your whole body down. And breath work is really important in yoga because when we breathe, we're breathing into our belly. So we want to make sure we're using that whole space and getting the benefit of the breath. So you're going to breathe into your nose, and you're going to fill up that space. Your chest and your ribs are going to expand, and you're going to feel your belly expand, and then you're going to exhale all of that air out. So we usually breathe in and we count, like it could be a 3-count breath, it could be a 4-count breath, it can even be a 6-count breath. We all have a different capacity when we breathe. And then when we breathe out that same count. So if you're breathing in 3 counts, you're going to breathe out 3 counts. And yoga actually helps to expand, especially when you're doing like chest opening exercises. It helps you expand that space and give you more lung capacity, and slows down your breath, which slows everything else down. So we're going to start with, the standing poses. So this video is not going to really be a yoga flow. It's going to be a breakdown of each of these poses, which would be some of the basic poses that you see in beginners yoga, and you'll see them a lot in even more advanced yoga poses, yoga flows. So we're going to stand up, stand tall. We're going to open the chest here, and we're going to relax the shoulders. And we're going to start with a forward fold. So when you do a forward fold, you're going to be pulling your head up towards the sky, finding length in the spine. And we usually, lift our arms up, have fun with it, flow, feel your flow. So you can lift up your arms. We usually inhale on the lift when we lift our arms up, and then exhale, we come down. So we're bending at the hips, and we're keeping this part of your body straight. So we bend as far as we can, and what we're going to do here is start bending the legs a little bit. So what's important here is then you can start bending more into this pose. Lengthen, and then come down, and you can grab your shins here, you can grab your toes, you can touch the mat, however you're comfortable, and bend, keep the knees bent, right? And you want to get your chest close to your knees as comfortably possible. So this is your forward fold. You're going to find your forward fold. You could be here, that's fine. You could be here. And keeping the knees bent. Inhale. Exhale, try to get a little closer. We're not going to hyperextend the knees here. We don't want to push the knees to be straight. So if you can straighten them and it feels good, that's fine, but we don't want to overdo it. So fine, if you need that slight bend, that's fine. You get the benefit of the pose. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come up slowly into a half fold. And this is another yoga pose that we use a lot, the half fold. So what you're doing here is you're keeping the top part of your body parallel to the floor, and you can rest your hands on your thighs here. You can also use blocks. I have 2 blocks here. You can get 2 blocks and put them down, just like next to where your toes are, like they'll be under your shoulders. And you can do your half fold here. So you could stand up, and you can inhale, arms up, exhale, half fold. Bending at the hip, grab your blocks, and just keep your back straight and your head in line with your spine. And when you inhale, lengthen. Find length, pulling your head towards in front of you. And then you can exhale, go down to a forward fold, bending the knees slightly. Inhale, come up to a half fold again. So that's our forward fold and our half fold. So you can come back up now. You can move the blocks out of the way. I'm going to show you downward dog. That's another very popular pose that we see a lot. We use it for transitioning. So we're going to come into tabletop. So tabletop is just a simple pose. We're going to come down on our knees, and the knees are going to be under our hips. So the knees are going to be hip width apart, and the hands are going to be under the shoulders. So the feet, the tops of the feet are resting on the mat. So what we do here is inhale, take a breath. Exhale, we're going to curl the toes under, and you're going to push on your hands and your fingers, spread your fingers apart, and you're going to lift your hips up towards the sky, keeping your knees bent here. And you're going to push yourself back, hips up, and your chest, you're going to have that sensation like you're pushing your chest towards your thighs. And pull up your hips up towards the sky and keep your knees bent, and then if your heels touch the floor, that's fine, and if they don't, that's fine too. It's all good. Sometimes we pedal here. We pedal our feet, we move the knees in, we play around with it, see what feels good. Sometimes we just stay here and breathe. And then we're going to come back to tabletop. So we're going to do that again. If you need to take a rest, actually before we do downward dog again, I'll show you child's pose. So in tabletop, again the knees are under the hips, hands are under the shoulders, and the feet, the tops of the feet, are on the mat. So for child's pose, which is a good resting pose, we're going to bring the toes together. Touch the toes together, and you're going to push yourself back and sit on your heels. And you're going to bring your head down, your body down, and your forehead down to the mat. And you can bring your arms out and just breathe. Sometimes we put our hands to the side. Sometimes we keep our arms to the side. Let's take one more breath to rest here. And now let's get back up to tabletop for another downward dog. So back to tabletop, knees under hips, hands on the shoulders, curl the feet under, push your hips up towards the sky, chest towards the thighs, and you can just stay here, you can pedal here if you want to, that's fine. Remember spreading your fingers out, distributing the weight evenly between your arms and your legs. Now we're going to show you low lunge. We're going to start from standing. Feet are going to be shoulder distance apart. We're going to bring our hands down to the mat. We're going to step the right foot all the way back, making sure that our left knee is over the left ankle. We're going to place our right knee down on the mat, and the top of the right foot is going to be down on the mat. And you can bring your upper body up here, bring the hands up to the sky, and then they come back down. So you can stay like this in the lunge. You can come up to your fingertips, or you can even use blocks if you'd like. So if you're using the blocks, they go under your shoulders. And again, just breathe into the pose and feel that nice stretch in your spine. And when you're ready to come out of the pose, you just place your hands back on the mat. Curl the right toes under. Move this so you can see. You're going to lift that right knee up and step up to where you were before. You can come into a half fold, and then you can come up straight. Now we can do the other side. You're going to bring your hands back to the mat, step your left foot all the way back, making sure your right knee is above the right ankle. I'm going to bring the left knee down to the mat. The top of the left foot goes on the mat. You can bring your if you want to, or you can stay here. That's fine too, it's all good. You can come up to your fingertips if you want to. You can use your blocks, lining them up with your shoulders. Just breathe into the pose. This is a great stretch for the spine. And what you can do is, on an exhale, you can relax more into the stretch. So I can actually feel it in the muscles in the inner thigh here. I also feel it in the back of the thighs. And to come out of it, going to plant your hands back on the mat. Curl those left toes under, lift that left knee off the mat, and step your left foot up front to the top of the mat again. Come into a half fold, and come straight up. The next pose I'm going to show you is Cobra. We use this a lot, of course, in basic yoga. So we're going to come back to tabletop. So Cobra, what we do is we're bringing our body onto the mat, laying on your belly. And you're placing your hands under your shoulders, and you're just going to lift. When you're going to lift, you can do a low cobra or cobra, and you're going to lift up to the point where you're comfortable. So you don't want to put too much pressure or stress on your lower back here. So be very careful. Slowly find your cobra, and that's where you'll do your cobra. And we do cobra. This is a chest opener. So what we do is when we lift, we inhale. Exhale, come down. Inhale. So sometimes what we do is we go to Cobra, and then we push back and go curl toes under and go to downward dog. And then back down to Cobra. And now I'm going to show you seated forward fold. You're going to sit straight, your back's straight and your spine lengthened, and your feet are going to come out in front of you, your legs straight, hip distance apart, so feet are in line with the hips. And what we're going to do is we're going to point the toes up, keeping your legs active here. You're going to inhale and raise the arms up. Exhale, we're going to come down, forward. From the hip, we're bending at the hip, keeping the back straight. So you're going to come to the point where you're comfortable. So you're not going to force this fold. And you're going to say, I'm bending my knees here. So you can bend your knees here. If you feel comfortable with the knees straight, that's fine. But if you start to feel that pulling and that uncomfortableness, we don't want that. We don't want to force the knees straight ever. So we're going to give a little bend here and bring yourself as close as you can. You can grab your toes. If you can't grab your toes, you can stay right here. You can put your hands right on your thighs and just bend forward. Or you can hold on to your shins. Wherever you are, it's fine. So inhale, exhale, come down, and then you're going to breathe. And exhale, you can kind of relax into the pose. Keeping the back straight still here. And you can try to straighten the knees a little to see how they feel. Like if you can straighten them a little bit, that's fine. If not, you can stay right where you are. Right now today, my legs are like this. They have a little bend in them, and that's fine. And you breathe into it, and then sometimes we just release into the pose, so we can bend it back then. So we inhale and exhale, release into the pose, and bend the knees as generously as you can into the forward fold. So you can be here, you can be here, that's fine. So that's the forward fold. You can inhale, come up. The note about inhales and exhales is when we open up the chest, we're inhaling, expanding, the lungs, and when we're bending, we're exhaling. So inhale, exhale, come down, forward fold. exhale. That's what we're doing. That's what we usually do. So inhale, arms up, you're opening. Exhale, forward fold. Sometimes we bend. Bending, it can go either way. Sometimes a bend could be because you're opening one side and you're bending another side. So sometimes we exhale on a bend, sometimes we inhale on a bend. I usually inhale on a bend, but sometimes, depending on how it is, I might exhale on a bend. So there's really no right or wrong with a lot of the poses. You just find what feels good. But usually when you're expanding, you want to inhale and then exhale when you're bending or folding. The next pose I'm going to show you is Savasana, and a lot of times we end yoga with Savasana. Savasana, some people like it and some people kind of feel uncomfortable staying in it too long. I'm one of those people that sometimes after I'm in Savasana for a while, I'm like, oh, I want to get up, but try to fight that. Try to give into it and try to release yourself into it and see, you may grow to like it a little bit more. So sometimes I end in Shavasana, sometimes I end in a sitting pose. It's all good. So Shavasana is really nice. It's a nice way to end and rest your body. So what we do usually is we bring our feet down to the bottom of the mat, and we put one foot, your right foot near the right corner of the mat, and your left foot near the left corner of the mat, and you lay down. And as you're laying down, you're going to tuck your shoulders under, and the arms just kind of come out to the sides. You can bring the palms facing up, and you just allow your body to grow heavy. And a lot of times, believe it or not, I still find that I have tension in my shoulders even after I do yoga. So we're just going to be aware, relax the jaw and relax the shoulders. And relax the legs. If I have a stressed out day, I notice I actually have tension in my feet or in my legs, and I'm even surprised sometimes. You just be aware of your body and just let it go heavy. Just relax and just start breathing. First deep, nice deep breaths. Relax those shoulders. And then you start breathing normal, with your normal breathing pattern. And Shavasana, I'm going to get up now. Shavasana can last a couple of minutes or 5 minutes. Some people do it for 10 minutes. It's all how, what you feel is right for you, what makes you feel good. So I hope this video was helpful for you to just get familiar with some of the basic poses. If I think of more, I'll make another video. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Have a great day.